it's Leanne here, Diamonds and Doxies, which I'm sure you already knew that. Today, we're going to do a whip and chat. However, I have not opened this before, so I'm going to open it now. I'm not really going to do an unboxing. Well, I guess I am going to do an unboxing, but I've had this now for probably a month. And I bought several of them, and I haven't done any of them, but they're glow in the dark, so that's kind of cool. And they're from Michael's here in the U.S. Make Market. I'm not sure if they have other stores, maybe in Canada. I don't remember. But anyway, it's this little wooden thing, so we're going to take this out. Their Halloween stuff was with their Halloween stuff. It wasn't with the regular diamond painting and whatnot. So anyway, here is what comes inside. So let's see here. Oops, get that off of my glass. Come here. Okay. So it looks like you can, oh, okay, I guess you tie those on either way, or you could, if you wanted to, hang it up like that, if you wanted to. Let's see, I don't know what that's for. This here is the DMC, the little legend. 3 of them are glow in the dark. The 10, 11, and 12, which is JKL. I like that they're all, the symbols are all alphabet and they're all in order. So, yeah. Here's instructions on how to do it. And then I think this is cool. I don't know if it's like this in all the other kits, but I think it's cool that they've got it themed. So you've got your little boat in orange, as well as your squishy, and it's already on your pen, so you don't have to worry about trying to get it on there. You've got a bag of baggies to kit up. You know, if you want to, if you have any extras and you want to save them, you can absolutely do that. And then you've got some wax. And as it says, you got to peel off this little plastic piece. But I like that it's in orange, and you get 2 pats of it. So, yeah. I think that's pretty cool. Of course, I won't be using that. I will be using my Mary Mud, and I use Mary Mud and a glue dot, and I guess I could switch out pens, but let me see. I don't know that. I think this is just, I'm just terrible at switching out stuff, so apologize for that glare there. And here are the drills. It's a round kit, of course. But yeah, so you've got 10, 11, 12 colors, right? So let's see if we can see these. Let's see, J, K, and L. These here are glow in the dark. So I know it's going to be his glasses and his heart, which is right there. And J is his skeleton right there. So, yeah. We're going to do this today. So, I'm going to get us set up, and then we'll be right back. I might try turning off this overhead ring light, because see how that does? It's going to bother you, and it'll probably bother me when I sit down and start diamond painting. So, all right, hang on. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back. Okay. I'm also using today, oh, let me get my chair right. This was from last year, I believe, and it's a Muni made. It was a limited edition pumpkin tray. And I thought, why not? I think I'll use it. Let's keep in with the theme. Alrighty, I'm not going to start with the H. That's all this pink. I'm going to do that later, but I am going to start on all of this A. It's all in here, so there's a lot of it. So let's get this party started, shall we? All right. I gotta be careful because this pumpkin tray does not have a stopper, so I don't want them to go shooting out. It does have high sides though. All right, let's do this, shall we? Let's see, I think that'll work like that. Come on. Yeah, I think that'll work. Okay. You know, as you know, a lot of this, or all of it really, has to be single place. So it takes a little longer, but that's okay. Um, yeah. I hadn't done Halloween. I've done a fall little stuff, you know, off the canvas, but I had not done Halloween. And today is, what is today? I don't know. 21st, I think. Yeah, I think it's the 21st of October. So, you know, it's almost time, right? So, oh, come on. Come on. But I'm curious, have any of y'all done these? I think a lot of people have. Part of it, it's really sticky, so it makes it where it wants to raise up the wood off of the desk, and it's loud unnecessarily so. So anyway, how are you doing? If you are new here, hello, I'm glad that we found each other, and I do hope that you'll consider subscribing. I hope that you'll like it here. You know, I don't know that there's anything educational going on, but hopefully it entertains you, keeps you company while you do whatever it is you are doing. Yeah, I mean, I usually listen whenever I am diamond painting, but I've also been known to listen while I'm cleaning, you know, just, or organizing, or, you know, any of that good old stuff, where anytime we're listening is fine and I don't have to watch per se. Or if I do, I just look up for a second and see, but otherwise just listening is enough. So, and if you're not new here, if you've been here for, if this is your second video, or I think I've done 244 videos. So if this is your 244th video, God bless you and welcome. Thank you and all that good stuff. That's incredible. Yeah. So I do have a couple of new people. So for those of you that are a little new, I do live in Texas, in Southeast Texas, actually, because Texas is a pretty big state. It can take you all day to get across the state, sometimes more than all day, depending on where you live. So I live down towards the bottom. But anyway, I have 3 dachshunds that are little PETAs. I always say I have PETA dachshunds. Or, you know, anyway. And I do have 3 kids, a daughter and 2 boys. And then I have 2 grandsons from my daughter. So, and occasionally my youngest grandson, he is, oh God, I do this every time. He just had a birthday in the end of September, and now I never can remember if he's 13 or 14. I think he's 14, which blows my mind, but I think that's what he is. So anyway, what's been going on with y'all? Trying to think if anything exciting has happened to me. I can't think of anything off the top of my head that makes me go, oh, you know, this is exciting. My problem is I never take notes, which is stupid. Why? I mean, you know what? I've never been a note taker ever in my whole life. So it's, you know, it's one of those habits you either learn or you don't. And I guess it's not too late to learn, but I'm not a note taker. So I forget a lot. And, you know, I'll think of things like, oh, I want to make sure I talk about this or I talk about that. And then I just get on here and I go completely blank. But anyway, it's, you know, nothing bad has happened. So that's good, you know. If something bad has happened, I just don't know about it. So, as usual, I am worried about my youngest. He is the baby of the family, and he's, you know, he's 34. So he's not a baby, but he's mine, you know, so. Anyway, he's the only one that's single, and so I worry about him, you know. It's, I would love for him to find a good mate for him. I mean, yeah. It makes such a difference if you have a good mate in your life. But I don't want him to pick the wrong one, because there's nothing worse than being in a incompatible relationship. So, but I do worry. I do worry very much, because, you know, if something happens to my other son or my daughter, you know, they have someone in their life that takes care of them, you know, or lives with them. So, you know, if something happened, someone would let me know. But in this particular case, you know, he just has a cat. And unfortunately, my little grandkitty cannot communicate with me like that. So, but, you know, I don't know. I don't know. Get a sip of my drink here. You know, I think one of the things I don't tell you about kiddos, or, you know, deciding to have babies and all of that stuff. I mean, obviously, they tell you about, you know, them, you know, the terrible twos and the teenage years, the puberty years, the, you know, all of these things. But they never tell you when they're grown how that doesn't change anything as a mom, you know. It's not like you go, it's not like one day you go, oh, well, they are grown, and so I no longer worry. I no longer care, you know. It's like, Now that gets worse. It gets worse because now they don't live with you, and you have zero say, you know. I mean, I guess if they ask you for advice or something, that's one thing, but, you know, you don't live with them, so you can't say something's not right, or, you know, I don't feel like something's just wrong, and you have to let them live their, you know, live their lives and figure stuff out on their own, because, you know, you have to go, well, when I was 34, I mean, I had 3 kids, so, you know, yeah, but I don't know. It's a worry. Having kids is a worry. I feel like some of these aren't going on there right. And that when I get on there, they're stuck on there, y'all. So I don't know. I don't know what you do about all that. You know, I think he really wants to find a mate. And, you know, I really do feel sorry for this generation coming up, because it isn't easy. You know, it just is not easy. And it seemed easier to me when I was growing up. You know, we didn't have all of these dating apps and sites and whatnot. And I don't know. I mean, don't know. I think, I know a lot of people have found mates, soulmates, on the dating apps. I'm not saying that you can't. I mean, I absolutely know people that have and are very happy and very successful in their marriage. But it seems to me, especially maybe not so much for people that are a little more mature, maybe that have been married before and they're a little bit older. And so, what you're looking for in a mate when you're 30 is a little different than when you're 50 or 60, right? I mean, you might still be looking at having kids at 30, but 40, 50, you're like, here's what I want in a relationship. And it does change. It does change, I think. So then it's just all about looks. And I have met people that were just drop dead gorgeous, male or female, just gorgeous people. I mean, it was like, man, they're a fine species, or a fine example of our species. But then you have a conversation with them, or you're out with them, and then they open their mouth, they're rude, they're full of themselves. I mean, and suddenly they don't look so good anymore. And basically what you're doing on these dating apps is, if you like the way someone looks, you're swiping or whatever it is, Well, you may have just passed up, because now you're going, well, no, I think she's prettier, or he's handsomer or whatever than that last one. So, and then the sweetest, kindest, the one that, you will fall in love with if you got to know, you just poo-pooed them, you're like, nah, compared to. And I think that's a real shame, because to me, getting to know someone's personality is everything. Like I said, you can be gorgeous, but you can act ugly, or you can be super handsome and be a complete nitwit, But what do you do? I mean, he does go to church, and he has met people from his church, but I don't know. I do know that he can, I mean, it's going to take a certain female for him, because unfortunately, I've been told by many people, I'm stuck, his siblings, his father, my friends, that he is so much like me. Well, I ain't gonna lie. We can be hard to live with sometimes. And we can come across as arguing when we're not really arguing. I mean, we're asking, like, why do you think that? Why do you say that? But we also get into the point, So I know that I can be difficult to live with. And I'm pretty sure Jacob can too, or he could too. I mean, well, hell, I know he is. I've lived with him. Yeah. Obviously, I've lived with him. Brought him into this world. But he is such a kind and loving person. So, I don't know. I know there is a woman out there for him. I just hope he has enough sense to see it, I do believe that men are more about looks and women are more about personality. I don't know. I don't know. I just, you know, does keep me praying, though. I will say that. It does keep me praying. Speaking of praying, I think some of you knew that, you know, I have a great niece. It's my sister's granddaughter. She is 2.5, and she just recently, like, I don't know, 3 weeks ago, got, diagnosed with stage 4 high-risk neuroblastoma. She has, they immediately started her on a high dosage of chemo, and so far, it has shown promise. So she starts back on chemo, but so many people have been praying for that little girl. I know a lot of you have as well. And, you know, I think it's working. She has a very, very long road ahead of her. And it is a very aggressive form of cancer. And it's just, you know, so it takes aggressive forms of treatment. So, you know, so yeah, if you are a praying person, please keep her in your prayers. Like I said, you know, the hope, I mean, she had so much tumors that they couldn't get a port inside her chest for the chemo, so it had to go through her leg or her groin, I guess. And that is very painful. And so they were hoping the tumor would shrink enough where they could put it in her chest, and it appears that they have. So, yeah. But, you know, that's just so much for a 2.5-year-old to go through. You know? It really is. And it, you know, it changes the whole family, you know, the whole, I mean, because, you know, this is their 8th child, their youngest, their 8th. And so some of them are teenagers, you know, I mean, they've got friends, they play sports, they, you know, they do all these things. And, you know, their youngest, their baby, is immune system is shot, you know, because of chemo. So they have to be very selective in where they go and who's allowed in, which is pretty much very few people. You know, so it changes everything for everybody overnight, you know, overnight. And that's just, it's sad. I mean, it's hard for caregivers, and it's hard for her. So, yeah. Yep. And then let's see. But, you know, like I said, we'll just keep praying, and hopefully, you know, it's all for God's glory, right? So, yep. What else has been going on? Well, Max's birthday is coming up. And if you're new, Max is, well, I'll start first with, he is my ex-husband, the father of my children. But we live together, and we have been close for the last 14 years. Something like that. I don't know, maybe 11 years. Maybe that's what it is. Yes, it is 11 years. Anyway, and we live together now, so. And I forget where I was going with that. Forget why I was telling you that. I was saying something about Max. What was, I think I was just saying he's doing okay. I don't know if I told y'all or not, but someone gave him a 1961 Harley Davidson. And Max loves old motorcycles, and he's actually rebuilt a couple. And so he's got that out there in the garage. It needs to be rebuilt. But he's not young like he used to be, so he's just kind of lacking the motivation to finish it. Or to even start, to be real honest with you. But, hopefully he will. He's got a man cave garage. It's a separate garage. It's a 2-car garage from the house. And, it's got nice floor in it, or, epoxy floor, I should say. And it's got air conditioning and heating, and he's got 2 recliners out there, and he's got his work stuff, his tools and whatnot out there. Boy, this is really going to have to be rolled. So yeah, but he hasn't really been working on it. But yeah, 1961. That is older than me, y'all. I'm a 63 model. Oh, I will tell you something cool that's happening. So, I think I told y'all when I went to the retreat, I was matched with this lady named Anne. We both wanted our own separate rooms, so we shared a condo, but we each had our own bedroom, which was phenomenal. And right off the bat, we just got along. We just got along, and then come to find out, she doesn't live very far as the crow flies. Now, with traffic lights and stuff, it may be like a 30-minute drive or something, but so she lives close to me. So we'd been talking about getting together, and I had been wanting to try to start like a group, for anybody out in this area, just like, once a month, get together, and just hang out and diamond paint, catch up, or, if you cross stitch, crochet, knit, whatever, just kind of get together and hang out and craft. So there's another lady that I've met through this community. She's a subscriber, and that's how I met her. She lives even closer to me. And so we've been talking about getting together. Well, so this coming Friday, I have reserved, not rented, because it don't cost anything, a room at the library. And so us 3 are getting together, and this will be our first time to do this, and I'm very excited. So if you live in the southeast part of Texas, or I should say the southeast part of Houston, all the way to Galveston, because we're pretty much, in between Houston and Galveston, that kind of area. So anywhere from the southeast part of Houston all the way to Galveston, and you'd like to, get together once a month, let me know. I don't know how long the library thing is going to work. I don't even know if it's this would be my first time. So none of us have done anything like this. So none of us knows for sure. But like I said, I did get the room. It is supposed to seat 6, which, if you're a diamond painter, you need a little bit more than just a regular place to sit. You need a little space for your stuff. Although we're all going to take something really small at first, because I don't know, you know, a place that's designed for retreats will have a lot of outlets and stuff so people can plug in whatever it is they need. And so I don't know about this place, you know, about the library. And we, you know, we may have to end up, because I do want it to grow. And they do have bigger rooms. But again, like I said, I'm not real sure. You know, I just don't know. But, so if you do live, even if you don't mind driving anywhere in Houston, you're welcome. You're absolutely welcome. Currently, we're going to do it during the day. But, you know, that's because we can, you know. I don't work, and those two don't work either. So, all retired. So, we can. But, I mean, if it came down to it, we could change it, you know, and try as it evolves. Hopefully, it'll evolve into something bigger. It may not. It may just end on Friday, you know. I don't know, but I'm hopeful. Because diamond painting really isn't conducive to making friends, right? I mean, you can go anywhere and crochet or knit and or cross stitch, you know, it's very portable, but diamond painting is not. So it's very, unless you got some little tiny things, but I mean, yeah, it's just not like, I think I'll pack this up and go to the coffee shop and have some coffee and diamond paint. You know, you just don't, you know, I don't guess there's any reason why you couldn't, but I don't know. Anyway, and I think as a rule, diamond painters, as in general, I'm not, you know, this does not apply to everybody because I have met some diamond painters who are extremely outgoing, but a lot of us are kind of introverts, you know. And so we're just, and it's not that we don't want to make friends. It's not, we're not antisocial so much as, you know, we just don't go seeking out friendship. So, some of these are not fitting in there well. Oh. So anyway, I'm hoping that it'll be a fun thing to do. Yeah. But I knew, I mean, I had been thinking about it, wishing somebody would start one, you know. And then after the retreat, I was like, you know, I'm not ready for this to end. I'm not ready for this camaraderie to end. I really wasn't. I mean, I was ready to come home and from it. And, you know, I came home, got some rest. And the next day, I was like, you know, I will, you know, it's like I wanted to go see my friends again. Well, yeah, no. So, hang on a second. Hang on. Okay, sorry. That was my youngest texting. So I wanted to make sure I answered him because I hadn't heard from him in a couple of days. So, that was answered prayer right there. But anyway, I'll let y'all know how it goes on Friday. I've met Anne, of course. You know, we were condo mates. But I've never met Theta. Except, you know, she'll be in my lives. So she does come there occasionally. So I know her that way. So it'll be fun. It'll be fun. She has a channel as well. Let's see, what else? What else? Oh, well, tomorrow I have my live. I hope that y'all can be there. I have it pretty much every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Central Time. Tomorrow morning, I have a mammogram and an ultrasound that I have to do. So that'll be before my live, though. I have to be there at 10. I'm a little late in getting it done. I was supposed to have gotten it done like in February, but as a lot of y'all know, I was having shoulder problems, and you know, you have to lift your arm up, and I couldn't put my hand over my hand over my head. I couldn't raise it up. So I didn't go get my mammogram. But then I had shoulder surgery, and now I can get my hand over my head. And so, yeah, now I'm doing it. So, and I've been having a little pain, hence the reason for the ultrasound. I am positive there is nothing wrong, but, you know, I've had to get ultrasounds before because, you know, there's been something show up and then the ultrasound rules it out. So, you know, it's dense or something, dense tissue or something like that. I don't necessarily remember. So that drill has a tab. There we go. Oops, daisies. Our weather here is not, well, it's not been fall-like compared to a lot of places. But for us, it's been very nice. It has been warm, but it's been drier. It's a little more humid today. I'm not complaining because it is really dry out there. Most places around are under a burn ban. You know, and when you live where there's trees and stuff around you, you really don't want a fire to start. And all it takes is someone not paying attention or whatever. But yeah, we need some rain. So hopefully Saturday there's a chance. And if we don't get it Saturday, I don't know that we will get any rain chances. So definitely need some rain. But it hasn't been crazy hot, and in the shade it's actually been nice. If you have to get out in the sun, however, it's warm. So, and I imagine if you got out in the shade and was working, it'd probably be warm too. But if you're just sitting out back in the shade, listening to the birds, it's quite nice. We haven't had an actual cold front. We've had some cool fronts, which just means the air's a little drier and it's not, you know, it's not 98 degrees, so I'm for it. I mean, we've been getting up to like 90, I guess, somewhere in there. Which, again, this is Texas, Southeast Texas, so I'm okay with it. I am ready for some crisp mornings. I wouldn't mind it warming up to about 70 during the day. You know, that would be nice. Not looking forward to, you know, any kind of freezing weather. Or I saw where in Colorado on I-70, you know, they were having issues with, you know, snow, and I'm like, no, thank you. It's beautiful and all of that, but I don't like extreme anything, to be real honest with you. I'm really not into extreme anything. If it's got extreme in front of its name, I probably don't like it. And that is also true with weather. I don't like it extremely cold. I don't like it extremely hot. So, yeah, there you go. My likes and dislikes. This is a cute little doohickey, don't you think? I needed to take a break because I'm working on my Femme Cadabra Christmas Joy from Unimade. And I got it for the Femme Cadabra event that Artemis is hosting. But then she said it didn't have to be a new start. And I was like, I really want to start this one. So I did. And I am loving it. And I am finishing about 2 sections a day. And it's like I need to slow down because you do have to have, I think she said, like a 20 centimeter by 20 centimeter area to complete after November 1st. So, and I did measure, and it's like, oh, well, I got plenty. But, again, it is not, it's like I need to slow down because today's the 21st. Yep, I just looked. It is the 21st. So, it's 11 days before it starts. And, yeah, I'm pretty sure if I do 2 squares or 2 sections a day, I will be done. And so I don't want to be done. So that's why I was like, you know what? I'm not going to do a whip and chat with that. In fact, I think I'll get something off the canvas. And that's a square. This is round. And it's like, I bought these. I bought 3 or 4 different kinds. Maybe, I think 4 of Halloween. And I haven't done any of them. And so it's like, well, you should probably do that before Halloween's over because I am not going to want to do them afterwards. Or else I'd be working on Christmas Joy. And I don't know if I'll be able to not work on it today. We'll see. We'll see. I think maybe if I try to just go 1 section a day as opposed to 2, I can probably swing it and do just fine. So there's so many awesome prizes that I really want to be a part of. I'll link to Artemis's channel so that you can follow along. Mel with Diamonds and Dogs is also co-hosting, as well as Tammy with Diamond Painting with NMD. So yeah, I will link their channels as well. So, yep. I am hoping to win something this time. I couldn't on the last event with Artemis. I couldn't because I was a co-host. But now I could possibly win something. So I'm hoping that I can. Let's see, what else is... What else is going on? I went and saw my dad on Sunday. He's doing okay. I wonder, though, if he's not dealing with depression. I think it can be common amongst elderly, who live alone. And, he doesn't have someone coming by to see him every day. And, he really doesn't have contact with other humans that often. And, and if you're not watching TV, you're just sitting there, you're lost with your own thoughts. And sometimes it is good to be alone with your thoughts, but not for very long. because sometimes those thoughts can turn on you. And yeah, and I kind of think maybe that's what's happening, and he just doesn't feel as, and I know because I take stuff for depression. I mean, depression and anxiety, those are my things. And I've been on medication for years. I mean, I tried going for a few years without it, but always get back on something because it's just, I can't, I just can't. But, it's kind of like a double-edged sword. It's like, well, if I get up, or it's a vicious cycle, I guess is the better word. I don't want to do anything. I want to do something, but nothing sounds like fun to me. It's like, I know I need to get up. I know I need to move around. I know I need to do these things. So let me think, do I want to go do this? No, not really. How about that? No. How about that? No. And so it just perpetuates itself. And then the end of the day comes, and then you're like, oh my God, I was so worthless. I did nothing. I didn't bathe. I didn't wash my clothes. I didn't eat. I did nothing. And then the guilt kicks in, right? Well, you're worthless. You're not worth much. You're not an asset to anybody. You're a liability. And, that's when the voices, or your brain, your thoughts start betraying you. How much better life would be if you weren't in it, and the truth of the matter is those are all lies. That's a lie that your brain, or Satan, whoever you want to consider, is telling you. Because you are loved. I really can't go every day. It's at least an hour, usually more than that on the way home. I mean, sometimes it takes me an hour and a half to get home. So, but I don't know. It's, okay, wait, where is, oh, here it is. So what I'm going to do with these is I'm just going to put them, these extra ones. I'm pretty sure that's all, but I'm not going to throw them away until I'm completely done. And I'll put them back in here, in this bag. Oh, come on, get out of there. And I'll just set the bag over here out of the way, and it'll be just fine. Okay, now let's see. Let's do J. Now these are going to be the glow-in-the-dark ones. Let's put J in here. So, if you've ever suffered with depression, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. You've been through it. You may still be going through it. I don't know. If you are, I would highly recommend getting on something. And so that's why I told my dad, I was like, you may have this, because sometimes people don't want to hear that, and, well, I don't have anything to be depressed about. Well, that's not really how it works, I mean, sometimes, people don't want to have a mental problem, if you will, and because of the stigma. And I get that. I totally get that. But sometimes we call it mental, but there's a physical reaction happening that's causing it, right? So I don't know, but he did say maybe I was right, and that maybe he would talk to a doctor. And I said, I would, because, it may be something that just, I mean, he's capable of getting out, and he lives by himself. He is capable of, he's got a golf cart that he can just ride around the block and stuff and, get out and about and see something else. But he just doesn't want to. And I'm like, well, maybe if you got on some medication, you would. You would. And he said, well, I don't know. But I don't know if it's just harder for men or if men just don't suffer with it the way women do. I don't know. But I think a lot of it is they feel like it's a sign of weakness. And then, when you're 88, you have different ideas on what men should be able to do. So, and he hates that, he can't get out there and work on his car. He's always done that. He's never, taking something into the shop was never his forte. He did everything himself. And now he physically can't, he physically cannot. So, yeah, that can wear on you, I mean, I can see areas of my life where I'm like, wow, I used to had no problem. I could do this. And a lot of times I'll say, oh, well, I can do that. I've done it 1,000 times. I can do that. And then I go to try and it's like, oh, wow, no, I physically cannot do that anymore. And it is a little like, oh, wow, because your brain thinks, well, why shouldn't you be able to? Yeah, you've had some birthdays since the last time you did it, but how difficult can it be? And then you realize, oh, crap, it is. And I think that's another reason why we should be patient with elderly because, one day, if we're lucky and we get to live to be in our golden years or whatever they want to call them, we too are going to need a little extra time, a little extra thought. And, I've always had a very soft spot in my heart for the elderly, and I think it was because I was raised by my grandparents. For those of you who may be a little new, I was not raised by my dad or my mom, but I was raised by my mother's parents. So, I knew her more, and I just recently discovered my dad. So, I've been searching for him for a very long time, and after 61 years, I found him. So, I love him dearly. I want him to at least have another 10 years because I did not, get a chance to get to know him. And so I'm getting to know him now. And I love him very, very much. And it's weird because I felt a connection with him from the first time I laid eyes on him. And sometimes I still have to pinch myself. Sometimes, like when I'm going over there, I'm like, who'd have thunk, If you'd have told me that I was going to be going to see my dad, I would have said, you are crazy. But here we are. So I really want him to have more years. I want to have more years with him, I guess is. And sometimes I think, am I being selfish in wanting that? I don't know. I'm just grateful I have him now. That I did. Because for a long time I was like, you know what? It doesn't even matter to me if he's still alive. At this point, I'll take what I can get. And just to know, more about him, that kind of thing. But now that, he's alive and I get to see him, I'm like, okay, I want more. You know, I want more. So, yeah. But I am blessed. I know a lot of people lose their fathers very early. So, and I also have, you know, I've also learned about other siblings. So, yeah. I actually have a little brother who is very little. Well, okay. No, he's not tiny or anything like that, but he will be 50 at the end of the year. And I'm like, dude, that's so young. So, but he is definitely the baby. Definitely the baby. And then I also have siblings older than me, and I have siblings younger than me. So I think, gosh, there's 8 or 9 of us. Not all are still living. But I really wish I could have met his mother, my dad's mother. She sounded like an amazing woman. Yeah, I wish I could have gotten to know her. That would have been amazing. It would have been amazing. So let's see. I've got an Alphonse Mucha. Oh, it should be coming today from Diamond Painting Shop that I ordered last week, and I think it said it's going to be delivered today. For the start of Mucha Mania, which is also November 1st. So I'll be doing that. It's a round, which is good because then I'll be doing the Femke Deborah is a square that I'm doing for that event. So I'll be doing 2 different events. And then I'm not sure once I get done with the Femke Deborah. I bought, if you saw the unboxing, I did an unboxing of a kit that I'd forgotten that I bought actually in July from Jada Gem Shop, and it's a pixel charted kit. And I just got it last week. But anyway, I'm anxious to try it. It's a Van Gogh 12 Roses is the name of it. And it's not very big. So I'm anxious to try it and see. It's a square. Because I think I'm going to like those much better than the non-pixel charted. And by pixel charted, that's Jade's way to say hand charted. I'm not sure if there's a difference between hand chart and pixel chart, but there you have it. So I think I might start that. I mean, because I really can't wait for Summer with the Masters, to be real honest with you. And I mean, that's next summer. So I might start that, and then I don't know. I need to start working on D-Stash again. I think I'm going to try to sell some, but at a reasonable price and all. But I gave away a few. So, yeah. I may try that and see. I'm trying to get my stash down a little bit. Well, when I say get it down, I just would kind of like to get it more manageable. Things that I actually think I will work on in the near future, right? Like within the next within the year things that I would, really want to work on. I have some kits that it's probably not going to happen, but I don't want to get rid of them because, they mean something to me. So there's that. But, I have 145 kits. So I've got years worth of diamond paintings to do. And that doesn't include any of my off the canvas stuff or my mini canvases. It doesn't include that. So, yeah. All right, now we're going to do the heart. And the heart is glow in the dark. Now, these look glow in the dark to me. Oops. Get over there. Kind of look like salmon eggs. Oops. My glue dot's like, hey lady, we're not used to you using us this much. I might have to put this in the sun so that we can see what it looks like. If I do that though, I'll wait to post this video until after that's done. After we can see it in the dark. Because I'd want to show y'all, So did anybody get any new diamond painting kits? Diamond Art Club had some new releases as well as some mystery kits. I didn't even look to see. I imagine the mystery kits sold out, but there appeared to be a lot of people wanting them, but I did not even go look. I need to figure out what I'm doing wrong. I know Evermoment. No, not Evermoment. Gosh, why do I keep calling them that? Because that's not who I'm talking about. Ever After, the diamond painting company, whom I love. They've got a new kit out that I like. But I don't know why I don't see those as often as I see Diamond Art Club's new releases. Maybe because they advertise every day. And I don't know that Ever After or even Muni Made does that. I don't know. But, yeah. I am trying not to buy anything. So, but, the Van Gogh was, like I said, I ordered it in July. I'd totally forgotten about it. So, now I think I am going, okay, I know that there's more well, I guess I can peel it back and do it. But I definitely want to get this part. I plan on doing the H's last, which is all this pink. It's a whole lot of pink. Let me see. My chair, I got one of those mats that it can roll around on, but it's like so heavy that when I sit in it, it gets in these grooves, and when I try to pull it forward or something, it won't go. And then I have to like really try to push it forward, and then it knocks into my, it's just, yeah. Well, I'm not liking this, that my glue dot is, let's flip it around, shall we? Yeah, let's try that and see. I wonder if there's a coating on these drills, because I don't normally go through glue dots like that. The only other time I did was when Art Dot released those original, I think there was 12 in a kit, and I did one of them, and I was changing out glue dots and putty like a lot. a lot. And someone said they had put a coating to stop static. So I don't know. I don't know if that's the case here. But I just don't know. You know what? Our Ivy Dazzler might be a good pen to use, or to really give a good try out. I don't know if an Ivy Dazzler is going to be a pen for me. I don't know. I bought it at the retreat, but I don't know. I've really grown accustomed to, like, these single placers are just easy for me to see around, you know. But I don't know. Oh, come on. See, some of these just don't fit right. There. All right, let's see. There's some over here, so let me come over here and do these here. Oh, there's quite a few. It was more than I thought, more than I originally saw. I know there was something else I wanted to tell y'all. I know it. I just know it. But I do not know what it is. I cannot remember. Oh, I know what I wanted to tell y'all. So this isn't the first time that I've seen a coyote, you know, set off my Ring camera. But this time, one of them came running by my front door. And then I just kept watching, and then here come another one right behind it running by the front door as well. It's like, holy cannoli. So at least they're in the front yard, though. They're not in the back. I did read that they can go over pretty high fences, but you know, they would have to want to, you know, there would have to be a reason, I think. Oh, darn it. See, this is why I don't throw away the drills right away, because now I see 2 J's here that I missed. And most of what they eat are rodents, which I haven't, now, knock on wood, but I have not seen any rats over here. But, you know, they could certainly be out in the yard, and I would not know about them. I have not seen them, so I'm okay. But, you know, I'm okay with pretty much anything as long as it stays, you know, preferably in the front yard. But don't come in my house type of thing. But, you know, they're nocturnal, so I think our dogs are okay, because, you know, we lock our doggy door at night because, well, you know, last thing we want is any critter coming in, but definitely don't want a raccoon or a skunk coming in. So we lock it whenever I go get in bed, which is usually around 7, we lock it. But yeah. So, you know, of course, I was reading about, I can't, you know, I'm one of these people that I want to know more, you know, so I'm reading all the things about coyotes. I had read up on them before, but this time, I don't know why, I just really wanted to read up on them. And, you know, they can breed with dogs, that there are actually people who do that with them in captivity. And I don't I don't know that it would necessarily happen in the wild, you know, like, I mean, I don't know, but they might. I mean, you know, I guess if a male could smell a female in heat, maybe, because, I mean, they are dogs, essentially, so, yeah. But what's crazy was we use Farmer's Dog for our dog food, and so it comes frozen. It's delivered frozen, and usually it's during the day, but it got delivered overnight, and they use dry ice. So I'm telling you, when it's frozen, it is frozen. But anyway, it was sitting on our front steps, and they didn't even notice it, so I guess they couldn't smell it. I guess they had it sealed pretty good. So, yeah. Oops. So I'm glad. I was like, oh no, it's going to eat their food, but he didn't. I didn't even know it was out there until this morning, which was a little irritating because usually I get a text and an email that says it has shipped, you can track it here, and then the day of I'll get a email and a text that says it's out for delivery. Then I'll get another one that says it's been delivered, and all I got was last night was a thing saying it's out for delivery, and that was after I'd already turned my phone on Do Not Disturb, which was at 7 p.m. It's like, no, it's on its way or anything. So I don't know. But at the same time, it could be because I think Amazon apparently, you know, I know like the night before I couldn't, or the morning of, I couldn't see anything on my Ring camera and I couldn't figure it out. Well, it was because the Amazon Web Services was offline and it affected so much. And I was like, wow, you know, I don't know. It's a little, I don't know, a little concerning. You know, we're trying to go digital on everything, and it's like, is that such a good idea? Because, I mean, like Venmo is down. Well, that's, you know, we use Venmo to pay people, and people send money to Venmo. I mean, I just don't know, you know. I don't know how I feel about all this digital stuff. I do not know. But I'm thinking I may speed this up. I don't know. I scooched my chair up trying to, but it's not working very well. Yeah, I think I am gonna stop here and then I will speed it up a little bit so you're not having to sit there and watch the, you know, watching paint dry. But look, it's turning out so cute, I think. I really do. So, all right, I'm going to speed this up. So, don't go anywhere.
Okay, let's start with speed. This is always hard for me to get used to because it says speed of being pink, but it is not pink. It is great. This train may actually be a little too big for this project, but that's okay. I'm going to just take that off for right now. Yeah, let's put it there. I was hoping that Jacob would say, hey, Mom, let's go get lunch, but he hasn't. That's okay, I'm not really hungry. Max has had a meeting, so I'm on my own for lunch, which is fine. Like I said, I'm not really hungry. I do like this kit. I don't know if I'll get to the other ones or not. I don't know. Cannot say. Cannot say. I might take a diamond painting on Friday to one of my friends, give it to her. But I don't know that she has done a premium kit. I think all of hers have been budget friendly, which there's nothing wrong with, but yeah, maybe she'd like to see what all the hoopla is about for a premium one, you know? Yeah, we are like trying to do this. We do, you know, get you hooked on something. Your life will never be the same. No, that's not true. Wayward one in there. Right now we're up here in the apples. I really do want to get this done today, if at all possible. And it should be possible. What's going to take forever is the H. It's going to take forever. Something I should do is the other side. I really should. I definitely think I can use the massage. All of these seeds. Gosh, I just had a pin shoot through my head. What the heck? Where did that come from, I wonder? Right seed, oh, this seed. Let me get a seed on the sides. My goodness. So I wonder what I will eat for lunch. That is a good question. I don't know. I don't know what I will end up having. I know I need to fill up my bird feeders. Poor little things. Well, not the backyard, those feeders. Well, one of the feeders, I need to fill up one, that's right. But out front, my front feeders do. I usually put just regular old black oil sunflower seeds in those. Generally, everything likes those for the most part. And those feeders are the ones that I have cameras on. The 3 feeders that have cameras on them. We've got 2 different kinds of squirrels. And then I think we have offspring where those 2 different kinds of squirrels have bred. Anyway, we've got, I don't know the technical name or the actual name for them, but I call them the gray squirrels. They're a little bit smaller, they're a little bit wilder. And then we've got, I call them the orange belly. But that's not what they're called. Anyway, they're bigger, and they're stockier and everything, and they really do have more personality. And we have one that is driving the dogs crazy, I'm telling you, crazy. You know what, I'll go out there and make them stop barking. So you just, chase it up the tree, and then they'll get just to where they can't get to it, because, they're trying to jump up the tree, and their legs are like 2 inches long, so that doesn't work. Anyway, it's just out of where they can get to him, and just starts squawking, squawking at him. So I go up there to get them to come in, and he'll move up a little bit, because he's like, oh no, she can reach up here. So he'll move up a little bit, and he just starts squawking, and I can't tell if he's laughing at them, calling them losers, or what, but they act like they understand, because they want to kill him. They want to kill him. After a while, I want to do the same thing. I'm like, listen here, buddy. Don't make me go buy a pellet gun. Yeah, I wouldn't shoot him, but, so go away. And, because the dogs will not stop. They will not stop. But you can't just leave them outside and let them bark, I don't like hearing barking dogs, incessantly barking dogs. I can't imagine that anybody else does, so, I've never been one to let them bark. But, yeah. Anyways, I'm crazy. So I haven't feeding the squirrels some peanuts, some unroasted, just plain peanuts. And now I'm like, I don't think I'm going to feed y'all anything, because y'all need to go. Which is stupid for me to even do that, because we have so many pecan trees. A ton of pecan trees. And that's what they eat. So, I need to go out there see if I can't find any pecans. When is pecan harvest season? I'm going to have to look that up and see. We have a lot of pecan trees. We have one huge one, and I'm sure the other ones are all babies from it. Because of the squirrels, hiding the stuff. Yeah, we also have oak trees. So they do eat that. We do have a couple of pine trees, so they do eat the pine nuts as well. Yeah, there's a lot of food out here for them. They really don't need the peanuts. If we can't get to the bird feed, we have baffles on the feeders. Raccoon baffles. We bought just regular squirrel baffles, and the raccoons are like, woo! So, we bought raccoon baffles, and that keeps them all away. Alright, let's do L, shall we? Alrighty. This is going to be cute. These are also glow in the dark. Here, start working our way around. Just work our way around. I really think this is going to turn out cute. I wish I probably should have started this earlier, I think, because I do think it's cute. I'm not a scary Halloween person. I like cute Halloween. Not glowy, not gore. I don't like evil entities. It's not my thing. I like to see how this is going to look with glow in the dark. my blue dot is. I have to give away again. Maybe not. Yeah, over there. Pug? I think it's a pug. I think that's what it is. When I first started diamond painting, I could literally sit and diamond paint for hours upon hours upon hours. And so, I got a lot of diamond paintings, and people would be like, oh, you're so fast. I was like, not really, I just spend a lot more time at diamond painting. Well, now I can't. I really can't. I mean, after 2 hours of sitting, my back hurts, my neck hurts, you know, and I have to take a lot of breaks. So, needless to say, I don't need as much time. But, when I first started out, I could do a lot more. And I can now. And that's okay. That's okay. It's not a race, you know. Yeah, originally I could easily do 9, 10 kits a month. And, yeah. Now, 2 would be amazing. Absolutely amazing. Plus, I also get tired of working on the same kit. And so, I keep a lot of stuff that's off canvas and stuff like that so I can have quick wins, you know. Yeah, but this blue dot is already... These have got to have some kind of coating on them or something, because it shouldn't be like this. It really should not. I may have to stop the video and refill. Let's see if I can get more done here, though. I don't know how people do big kits just single placing, because I would know. Well, I do know how people do it, and I hated it. So, I was still single placing when I did a Chuck Thompson. And it was round, and I was like, if I ever see a round landscape again, it's going to be too soon. So, yeah. So, yeah, I needed to, I was like, I have got to learn how to multiply, because this is not pleasant. But, yeah, take a couple hours and it's like, dang. It's not working out very well. That's why I don't like super confetti heavy kits, because it's just constantly having to change out. And it's like, oh my gosh, this takes so much time. Although, when I get my trays in, we'll see. I did order the tinier trays, but I think they just left Hong Kong, so who knows when they'll get here. I have no ideas. No ideas. I have no idea what to expect. So, yeah. I wonder what you listen to whenever you diamond paint. Do you listen to other YouTube channels? Do you listen to audiobooks? I used to listen to audiobooks as well. Okay, I'm gonna take a break. Okay, so I'll bring back. So, yeah. I'll bring up a bit clear. Oh, goodness. Oh, I don't think I can. That's a train. I can't stand that. So making sound. Well, I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to talk about it.
2,000 years later.
Okay, I have finished. This started this morning, and here it is. You know, obviously I took some breaks, but it's about 10 minutes until 7 p.m. on Tuesday, and I am done. All I got to do is put it in the sun and let it absorb some light. I'm debating on whether to put that on there, or I may just put some double-sided adhesive, or maybe put a magnet there and just stick it on to my refrigerator. I don't know. But anyway, I think it's super cute. I think it turned out really, really cute. Yeah, so thank you so much for your patience. And God, I have no idea how long this video is going to be, but I appreciate you sticking with me until the end. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Bye.